Hey, Bruce Naylor here, your boomer consumer, and this is a much requested review of the Wharfedale Linton 85th Anniversary Edition speakers. As a disclaimer, I paid for these with my own funds. No one's reviewed this video prior to posting, and all opinions are my own. And I've owned these for about 4 months, so this is not so much as a review. Well, it is, but more of what it's like to own these speakers. And I'll give you some tips with these as well if you're seriously considering buying these. Why did I buy these? Well, I did audition the KLH Model 5s, which are an amazing pair of speakers. They sell for around $2,500, but I heard so many positive reviews of the Lintons, I thought I will give them a try. And these retail for $1,500 without the stands. You can get them for $1,800 with the stands. And I do have my affiliate links down below, but so you want to check that out. And I will tell you right off the bat, the stands really are not optional on these things. I actually scored a deal as a scratch and dent. There is a little bit of damage here on the case. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's why I saved about $300 on this pair of speakers with the matching stands. So I bought these also because not only the positive reviews, but I wanted something that would pair up very nicely with my vintage audio gear. I'm a vintage audio guy, and I love especially the vintage Pioneer stuff. And I wanted something that would really pair up with that and kind of give you that whole vintage vibe. And I happen to listen to a lot of classic rock, Bad Company, Fleetwood Mac, Steppenwolf, that kind of music is what I enjoy. And I wanted something that would be a very good pairing for that. So what do you get for the money, the $1,800 that you're spending on these? Because there are less expensive speakers out there on the market that sound really, really good. Well, these are designed in the UK and they're manufactured in China. They're about 40 pounds in weight. There's a speaker. By the way, the stands weigh just about the same. So they're heavy. And when you get them with the matching stands, they're going to come in 4 large, heavy boxes. So if you've got somebody to give you a hand unboxing these, do that. And make sure that you pay attention to which speaker is the left speaker and which one's the right speaker. These are solidly constructed. They're made out of a combination of chipboard with MDF and a nice mahogany veneer. Available in, I think, a black oak, a walnut, and mahogany scratch and dent. So obviously I ended up taking what they had, which was mahogany. And I actually like the looks of the mahogany, so I'm just fine with that. So I wrote down some notes on here. So these measure 22.5 inches tall. And then they're about 13 inches deep and about 12 inches wide. I'd never think for a minute these are a bookshelf speaker. They're not. They're a stand mount. And they take up with the matching stand as much room as a pretty massive floor standing speaker. So, when you're setting these up, you want to take your time and make sure you get them exactly where you want them because they're not a whole heck of a lot of fun to move around. I talked about paying attention to the left and right speakers. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm seeing other reviews of these speakers out here, and many times they have them backwards. Here's the deal. When you set these up, this is the left speaker. The tweeters should be pointed inward, right? And then the grill cover, by the way, get it here, the W should be facing outward. So this is the left speaker, okay? And that's how you set these up. Now, of course, if you want to try experimenting and reversing it, that's fine, but you will affect the sound stage. Okay, I have another tip for you. One of the complaints people have about these is how tight the grill covers are to put on this unit and to take off. I should say take it off. And that's how I believe this damage occurred down here. Was somebody apparently got these and maybe tried prying it off with some type of tool and damaged it. I don't know. But here's the trick, and this is what works best for me. I take a couple credit cards and I sandwich them together, 2 of them. Then I went in underneath the very bottom and then I started to gently pry by lifting up on the credit card and pry off the bottom, and then keep working it a little bit, and eventually it'll pop loose at the bottom, and then gently pull it away from the pins. And that's the best way to get the grill. I know, because if you get these things and you go to pull them off, it's like, my God, these things are permanently attached. No, they will come off. But due to the design of the bezel, let's talk about this, right? It's got like a bevel edge around it, which that can cause some resonance or diffraction, however you want to, whatever you want to say. So these are really designed to be used with the grill. You can see there's a shape on here, and that reduces or eliminates the resonance because of the design of the cabinet. Now, as far as cleaning the Lintons, Wharfedale says they use a special type of coating to protect it and make it look nice. Don't use furniture polish or that kind of thing on it. Just a very slightly damp cloth to clean it off once in a while, and that's it. And then this, use I use a roller, one of those kind of tape rollers on here to clean that off. So far, I've not really had much trouble with it. But as far as maintaining the looks of these things, there you go. Okay, I have some notes on my phone. We're going to talk a little bit about the specifications now. I have a link to the actual manual with all the full specs of the Lintons. First, this is a base reflex design, so there's 2 ports on there with a set of gold-plated binding posts. Looks really, really nice, and then you have this 85th anniversary placard on the back of them. So these are very classy looking speakers. We get an 8-inch Kevlar, woven Kevlar bass driver, and then a 5-inch woven Kevlar mid-range, and a 1-inch soft dome tweeter. And thus the drivers that you get in there. Sensitivity is rated at 90 dB, rated at 40 hertz to 20 kilohertz, and a nominal impedance of 6 ohms. I've had these set up with my NAD integrated amplifier, which is like 40 watts per channel, and then my Yamaha AS501, and also my Pioneer SXD7000, which is what's currently hooked up to now. None of those amps had a problem driving these things at all, at all, at all. I would say if you have one of those like really low watt tube amps, 2 or 3 10 watts, may not be sufficient to really get, out of these things what you want to. But for the most part, I think just the average, 40, 50 watts per channel is going to be more than plenty of power to drive these speakers. Another question that gets asked a lot, do I need a subwoofer with these? Okay. Placement is critical with these. You can just drastically change the bass by moving them closer or further away from your front wall. So right now they're probably about 14 inches from the front wall. I feel I don't need a subwoofer with these speakers given that distance. Now, if you're going to pull it, some people say, well, set it up about a third of the way into the room from the front wall. Then if you're a serious bass head, yeah, you probably want to add a sub. If you move it a little bit closer to that front wall, I'm not so sure you need the subwoofer to go with it. I'm certainly very pleased with the bass response without a sub. And so that's how I'll be running these going forward. What about toe in? Wharfedale recommends no more than 30 degrees. Currently, I don't really even have these towed in. I'm more of a near field listening kind of guy. So I'm enjoying a nice imaging and sound stage with these. That's really incredible. I'm not an objective reviewer, I'm subjective, but these things do measure pretty nicely when it comes to frequency response and the flatness of the frequency response. These are very highly rated by some really smart people. As I said, I was looking for a speaker that would be good for classic rock and roll, and these really, really fit the bill nicely. The bass is tight. It's not muddy at all. It's clean. The vocals the presence is really there. The tweeter, never fatiguing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you, these are not the kind of speakers that if you listen to them all day long that you're going to have a migraine, something like that. They'll handle just about any kind of music that you throw at it. Also, these are wonderful with jazz. I do listen to a lot of jazz, but mostly classic rock and even some electronic music. And these really fit the bill. They still give you that kind of warm British sound that I remember back in the 70s, but yet they still have that nice retro design that I think a lot of people is going to find very, very appealing. These are very popular speakers. And that's really about all I can say about the appearance and the sound of the Wharfedale Lintons. Well, I should say I actually do love the build quality. These are going to be, for the foreseeable future, my daily driver speakers. So I like the build quality. I think for what you're paying for them, if you get them with the stands, and that's the only way I think to get them. Unless you've got, these ain't bookshelf speakers, folks, they're not. And by the way, with the stands, you can also use for record storage. I've got on the used vinyl that I'm buying right now, got them down there to be cleaned. So that's just a side benefit of that. Really, again, I can't stress enough, the stands are really not optional in my opinion. They do have a little bit of time to break in. I played them for about 8 hours a day for 2 weeks, and I really noticed that they were more relaxed. I think it's the better word. They just kept sounding a little better, and a little better. And that's what it's like to own these things. If you want the vintage vibe, if you're into that, if you like as that warm, classic British sound, you're going to love these. If you're looking for value in a nice three-way speaker, these are going to be tough to beat. They really, truly are. And that is my long-term review of the Wharfedale Lintons. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and let me hear your comments down below. Bruce Naylor is Boomer Consumer. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.